Welcome YouTube, Bobby G here. Well, I want to share with you the beginning of the breeding program for the marble convict cichlids. So let's talk. Alright, well, I got these cichlids, the convict cichlids, about 2.5 weeks ago. There's 11 of them in total, 2 males. If you watched the previous video, you would know a little bit more about them. And so what I did was, there's 5 of them upstairs in the display tank, and there's 2 in a holding tank right here. 75 gallon, and then what I did was I left 4 of them back here in the breeding tank, 2 males, 2 females, and now here it is, only 2.5 weeks later. 3 days ago they had free swimming. They both had free swimming groups of clutches. So it was really surprising to me that it happened so easily, and at the same time, I've been watching these 2 couples, every day, and for about the previous 4 days, the females hadn't really, moved a lot. Even when I fed them, they didn't want to leave their area. Now I couldn't see the area that they were. That they'd actually spawned, until obviously I noticed the little free swimming fry, and they both had groups of them, so that was super exciting. So today I'm going to share with you what they look like, and also we're going to question, are the parents eating their own fry? Let's have a look. So you can see here, I've set up on the left hand side what looks like a root system from a tree, and it's all hollow inside, so there's lots of nooks and crannies for them to get into. And then in close to the center there, I've set up a bit of a divider. I mean, it's not an actual divider, but just something that separates the 2 halves and separates everybody. You can see that they defend their own little territories. And on the right hand side, I set up just a little bit of slate and rock, and thinking that they may want to spawn in there, but in fact they spawn behind the larger rock on the right hand side. So let's have a close-up look on each side, and I think you'll find it interesting. So over here, what I find interesting about this is that constantly the little fry are somewhat changing their location. And by that I mean like only an hour ago, all those little fry, which you're going to see in a second, were all kind of gathered up, in this area up in here, and then there's times that they'll be gathered down in here, or in this little shelter in this area. But right now, they're all gathered at the back corner. And the male and female, what they're doing is they're busy scurrying around looking for any of their fry that is not in the area. This is concerning a lot of times to see it, because it looks like they're eating their fry. But in fact, both of them scurry around, collect them up, and spit them out. You can see the majority of those fry have come up to the front corner of the tank now. We'll zoom out a bit here and maybe get a little view of them searching for any stragglers. The other thing I noticed was the females, prior to spawning, they were really colorful, and now I'm not really sure why. Maybe they've they're exerting too much effort to look after their fry, or like I say, I'm not really sure why, but they're not colored up quite as much as they generally are. But they are really, really sharp looking fish. This is the one male. We'll scoot over to the other side in a second. You can check out the others, the other pair. Now this is one of the females that I had chosen out of the group, one that I felt was, possibly better looking than some of the other ones. Alright, so let's move on to the other side, left-hand side of the aquarium. Over here. I'll move the camera over there and we'll have a bit of a look. You can see all the fry on the back wall. It seems to be where they're hanging out right now. Although I don't expect the parents to really like this too well, because they're not very far from the dividing spot. So they'll be working hard to contain them. I have noticed, each day it looks like it gets more difficult for them to contain them, because I suppose the little fry are, they're definitely growing. It's amazing in 3 days. How much those little fry have grown. I mean, they're still fairly microscopic in size. These guys are from the original breeding group, or I should call it group. I mean, there's only the pair of them, male, female, and the Calico cichlids that this pair in particular puts out is really desirable. There's lots of red in them, and I think that's hard to come by. You can see the female now going around scooping them up, and I'm not sure where she's spitting them out. I think down over to the left hand side. Now I have noticed that in both pairs, they're not choosy which fry they pick. If there's some of the left-hand group's fry swimming around close to their area and they're not being defended, they'll go in and scoop them up. Now I had really thought that this pair, oh, here we go over here, just testing out the space. And you can see their fry are getting, the left-hand fry are getting very close to the boundary, and that's creating a lot of work for the parents. Now I would have expected her to, or him to grab those ones on the right-hand side there, because they are pretty close, but they seem to be allowing them to stay there. Anyways, we'll watch the development of these fry. I think ultimately what I'm going to have to do, probably within the next day or two, I'll remove one set of parents and let the other parents look after the whole group, because I don't want this to turn out to be a situation where you know, where the parents get upset and they just start eating their fry. I want to preserve, obviously, as many as I can, you know, probably within days of removing the one pair, I'll remove the other pair and I'll just let the fry grow up on their own. This is about 15 minutes later. You can see all the fry have escaped their area and they're creating a lot of work. Like, she gathers up a whole bunch in her mouth, as you can see. I think she must have gathered 20 or more just then. They'd like them to hang out down underneath here, but for some reason they all escaped to the back. Oh, apparently he wants to be on camera. He's being protective. If you watch him, if I put my finger near his spot, he may get... He's defending that little area there. Shouldn't really tease him like this, but he keeps getting in the way of the camera because the camera's a threat to him. It's not taking her too long to gather them all up. Alright, well, thank you for tuning in today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like, rate, comment, and share. And have a great day.